No,
instead
that's
of
not-
place that, I understand, so this is not right
That's
anymore.
not
We have to
correct.
have paper copies.
Yes, we do not need paper copies.
How much you have
Do
crinkle
not.
fries?
It says you don't
Okay.
have to here.
That's the old one, that's the
I know,
bill.
that's what I'm saying.
The one certified by the
one
Secretary of
says
State doesn't have
No
that.
paper copies, and the new one says yes to paper copies?
No.
That's what it just said.
The other way around.
Okay.
As long as it's on that website, people can access what it says.
That's where I was like, because I was like,
I don't care if it is like he gave us that we had those paper copies.
oh crap.
That's why I brought
Paper.
that.
Yes.
User friendly.
So even if it's the old.
I had ACAP. I used to hear everything that
If a publishes agenda and supplemental meeting documents on it, it's considered
Now,
accessible.
I think we
to the
have the
public.
outgoing,
Yes,
right?
right.
Okay,
It's
so
only
we
for
will
religious
call this meeting to order.
I'm gonna send it out. I
And I'll
promise I'll
do
send
a-
it out to everybody.
Okay.
I'll do a roll call.
It's very
Debbie Martin. Debbie. Here, are you here?
Here.
Okay. Beth Key.
Here.
Beverly Hyde. Here. Diane Johnson.
Here.
Joanna Daniels.
Here.
Ruth Cannell. Here. And Jackie Wilbur. So we all are here and we do have a forum, so.
Hallelujah.
Okay, we can now devote this time to public recognition. Is there anyone that, I have a sheet over here. Is there anyone that wanted to speak to us before we get started? Seeing none, we'll move along. All right, I need a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So.
Beth and Diane.
All those in favor?
Excuse me, 1 minute. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The voice is coming. I drank coffee all the way down, but it's still not cooperating with me. I need a motion to approve the minutes from March the 15th and April the 12th, which was the regular meeting and then the special call. If we want to do this as a group, we can, or if anybody hasn't, we'll get it on the floor and see. I need a motion to approve minutes.
Motion to approve.
Okay, Debbie made a motion to approve. Ruth seconds.
Group had approved.
Oh, group, yeah, to
Group
approve
Yeah,
it
as a group, okay.
Sorry.
Is there any discussion on either set of the minutes?
I do have one thing to say, that this has been, everybody should have a copy of this by reading it on the website, so you can access it on the
Yes,
website. So Jackie sent that out and everything. I had 3 extra copies, but,
I appreciate that, thank you.
thank you.
All right, now that we have the discussion, do all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Opposed? So we've approved both sets of minutes as a group.
Who seconded?
Ruth did. Okay. The next item is the election of a secretary. We lost our secretary in February and we're just now getting it on the minutes, so I will open the floor up for nominations or motions to get us a secretary.
I nominate Beth.
Me too.
Beverly Hyde nominates Beth. Diane seconds the motion. Beth, are you willing to take this on?
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in
Thank
favor,
you.
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a secretary. Yay! And I asked her to pinch hit in the, she didn't know that I was even gonna ask her until she got here in April.
Thank
And
you.
she did a really good job,
Fantastic.
so.
Oh, yes.
And it's really, really hard. It is really, really hard to,
But the pressures.
yes. Okay, we're moving on to old business. The bylaws, they're in front of us. We've had a lot of time to look at them. So, do I have a motion to get them on the floor?
I'll make a motion.
Diane makes a motion to get them on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie seconds. Okay. We've marked out, we have, looked at them, we've sent them around. at all, is there anything that anybody wants to discuss?
Yes.
Any problems that they see or something like that? Okay, Diane?
Yes, under section 4, where it says library directors and staff, in the first sentence, we discussed about taking out the word city. Instead of it being called a city library, it just needs to be their library, because these are not city libraries.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Who shall,
I'm taking notes. I have the revisions from April, which I didn't see. We didn't talk about it then because we didn't even get to that part.
yeah, we didn't get to
We didn't
that
even get to
part.
that part yet. So, but yes, I will take that out, no problem. So this is May, right? May revisions.
The next thing that I noticed was under section 5 for meetings.
Okay.
It's not really listed here, but I think under regular meetings and quorum, that we should have a meeting time stated somewhere in this section.
It was in the former bylaws,
Yes, it
wasn't
was, yes.
Okay.
And then something that wasn't in the former ones, but I think we need to say, is that especially on critical things that we vote on, I think it should be by a roll call vote, so that we have accurate yays and nays, and that it be by a roll call.
Okay. Go ahead, Joy.
So it says in there, shall meet bi-monthly during the months at a time to be determined by the majority of the board members at the July meeting each year. So we had decided to do that because if we find that it didn't work that year and we get new board members,
Right.
that we would then change it. So we can't put a specific time in there because then we're going to have to change the bylaws every year.
Because we used to meet at 1:30. And
Right,
because of
we
the
did.
differences that we needed to do,
3:30
and we met at the various libraries.
Right.
Correct.
So,
So that's why when we had talked about it in the committee, we decided to put it in members at the July meeting each year, so that it can be determined
So I
every
guess
year.
if we just make sure that we're always putting the time on the website, then
As
that's
long as it
suffices.
gets posted within
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
48 hours, I
Right.
think we're okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
then probably the only thing that I
Okay.
would recommend is just putting by roll call vote.
And where is that you're looking at? I
Well,
apologize.
it's not there, but I
Where
think
is
If a need arises to change the meeting during, it must be a majority, you want a roll call vote?
yes.
So are we gonna
Not to
do?
change the meeting during the time of the year, not there.
No,
Just,
I don't know where it
be
belongs. except
Also
that-
maybe under, like make a D and say,
Yes.
all votes should be roll call votes?
Yes.
Is
If,
that- is
if
that-
I could interject here,
Yes.
I think you're overkilling this, because the chairman can always bring it up as a roll call vote anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So if the verbal nays and yays
Okay.
is
If we feel like
unclear,
you get-
then
if it's
chairman would
unclear,
generally
you can
call a roll
drop
call.
back.
Yeah.
take a vote,
Yeah.
okay,
Go
that
do
works.
that, okay.
Okay,
Okay,
And sometimes you can do a hand vote too, as well as roll call, right?
It doesn't
Show my
happen
hand,
very
you know,
often that
Okay.
I don't generally advise doing it that way. I try to be very clear,
Okay.
kind of like playing blackjack. They want to see that hand.
Yeah, yeah, who's bluffing and who's not.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
and then the next thing that I have is that where it says, number 7, officers, I think that should actually be number 6, not 7.
Yep, you're right.
And then I think then we have to follow along with committees is now the new 7 versus 8.
Okay.
And then keeping with the numbering, the last thing says that it was 11, and it should be 8. Right here.
it's good.
Oh dear,
That says 11 and.
I
it
meant to
should
put
be
IX.
8. No, it still should be 8.
I know, but
And then going,
these allergies really
I
take you
know, I
down a
am
notch in your
absolutely-
IQ.
They do,
She's
they do.
so-
I am
Jeez.
absolutely suffering.
and then, I don't know how you all feel about this, but I guess it's under what should be the new 7, under committees. We do have a statement in there under.
Can I ask a question really quickly? Only because we're all going, but can we go one section at a
Yeah.
time?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we're like going back and forth,
Yeah.
and can we go one section at a time, and
Yeah.
then you can bring up your problems
Okay.
with that? Do
Yeah,
you
that's no
mind?
problem with me.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back to where we where we let off with, which was library directors and staff. That's where we stopped last
Page.
time. Page 4.
Okay.
There were two things that I wanted to add to that, and if you guys want to copy, these are the notes that I had, of things that I wanted to add to the bylaws. And I was thinking to add a G and an H, and that would be, G would be any library director who is removed or terminated by the library board shall not be employed by any capacity in the library system of Sumner County. And then H, upon termination of the library director, the library board has the authority to immediately appoint an interim director who shall serve until a library director has been properly selected. And especially H was because we were in this limbo, like what do we do and how do we appoint? So this gives us the authority to appoint. And if you want to, Ruth, if you want a copy of this that has the, these are my notes.
Okay.
And they're in orange, the ones the ones that are different from the bylaws that we thinking at. So, so thoughts on G, any director who is removed or terminated by the library board shall not be employed by any capacity in the library system of Sumner County. And then H, upon termination, the library board has the authority to immediately appoint an interim director.
Don't we have that authority anyway? Is that just not restating the obvious?
I think H is
In
already
H.
within our.
Yeah,
within
we
our-
have that authority anyway.
Well, to my knowledge, and that I think that was one of the things that we were trying to figure out legally was how to do that. And so that was one of the things that we were going, well, what in our bylaws states that and where does it state that? And so, and
I think it's under the hiring.
and this, I think, also, because it would be possibly if we were to terminate, then immediately following that, we would appoint instead of having to have another meeting. Is that what is that,
Well,
are you hearing what I'm
sometimes
saying,
you don't know.
Eric, or is that?
I'm a little confused myself.
Well, you helped. So, upon termination of the library director, the library board has the authority to immediately appoint an interim director who shall serve until the library director has been properly selected.
Okay.
I remember when we were
yeah.
talking that you had said, and when we were together, that there's nothing in the bylaws that says what to do after a library director is fired. So that we should probably put
The
something.
inclusion of the clause you just read?
Yes.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
to include that in the
And
bylaws.
Yeah.
I'm hung up on an issue. What was the terminology you used for if one departs? What was your criteria there?
Oh, any library director who is removed or terminated by the library board.
Okay, have you ever run into a situation where a director just doesn't want to be director anymore, but would like to work within the library?
We have, yes.
So
Okay.
you may be capping
Oh.
yourself unless you explain it. For example, they retire, they just say, I don't want to do all this anymore.
Correct.
And then you tell them, well, you can't work at the libraries at all.
Okay,
So that would be a
so,
voluntary resignation.
You could do something like anything other than a voluntary resignation or
Okay.
retirement, something along those
Oh,
lines,
yeah.
but
Subject to.
you
Okay.
just don't want to limit yourself.
okay, so,
Yeah, because sometimes those employees make your best, those people
I was
make your
gonna say, I
best.
imagine that would
Not
happen
terminate,
more
yeah.
often than in other departments.
well, and the intent was anyone who has been removed or terminated,
To make it clear what
to
to do
make
next.
it clear.
Yeah.
So any, okay, so what's the suggestion of
So
the verbiage?
that would be, actually, I think that should go between the F and the G. Because that's a more of a positive situation, the person for whatever reason is wanting to step down. So should any library director who voluntarily resigns or retires from the director position can still work in the system, subject to board
But you're
approval.
what ifing it to death.
Do you have to,
Yeah, you're what ifing it.
No, I think what
No,
we can
I'm just
do,
trying to say, keep it simple, that
Yeah.
other than termination,
So if you
Okay,
state
so other than-
termination,
Okay.
that eliminates everything else. I mean, everything else is still on the table.
okay, so other than
Okay.
termination, okay, so any
maybe termination or removal due to performance.
okay, so any library director who, or should I say, other than?
Removed by the board.
Can you not just put terminated for cause?
Well, that's what I said, any library director who is removed or terminated by the library board. I mean, I don't think we're gonna remove anybody for retirement, are we?
I don't know, you're leaving a big gray
okay.
area here is what I'm saying.
Okay, so,
Just put any library director who has been terminated. Flat out.
Why do we
term-
need that? I mean, are you worried about somebody?
Because if they reapply,
mhm.
You don't have to hire them.
you don't have to hire
I'm
them.
gonna hire them.
No. So this was, and this is what, something that if they're a library director and we terminate them, they can be hired at a library somewhere else in the library system.
Okay,
If
well,
that
first
director
off, we
wants
no
to
longer
hire them.
have a library system of Sumner County.
So, what did you say?
We no longer have a library system of Sumner County.
So it would be up to the individual. Yeah, that would be up to them.
Well, actually, if we're gonna, yeah, it's up to the director if they wanna hire somebody, but we won't rehire a director that we
No,
terminated.
no, the board wouldn't do that.
No.
Yes.
I don't see a director who's been terminated being rehired by another director who would risk the same discipline, for doing that. I don't see this being,
you're still the governing board, so it's,
I mean, if another director hires someone that you all fired, why would another director go and hire them unless they wanted the same kind of, treatment, I guess, for lack of a better term? It doesn't seem to me something that would come up very often, to be honest.
Okay. Well, it was something that was a concern afterwards, so I thought that I would put it in there. It was a concern that was brought up by a few people. So that's why,
Well, so I mean, I guess for G and H, is there a problem with leaving G and H in there, or do we need to delete it?
or just different verbiage for G. I think that was
I mean,
your
H
biggest
seems
concern.
fine,
For
but-
G, H seems fine, but G is the,
We have G.
I don't have any of the changes is my problem.
right here. There you go, thank you. So, okay, so H looks good,
Yes.
okay.
The only thing I would do on that is in G, is any library director who is removed, terminated, or asked to resign. I think
Okay.
that pretty much wraps it all up on G.
I guess that's not even necessary.
But it's in there. It could have it.
It could.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that would take care of your
Okay.
biggest concerns.
And then
By the library board shall not be
Oh.
employed by any capacity in the,
And any library within Sumner County.
in any capacity, in any library.
The library system of Sumner County does not exist.
Library in Sumner County? Okay. Does that make sense?
read it again.
Okay. Any library director who is removed or terminated or asked to resign by the library board shall not be employed by any capacity in any library in Sumner County. Did that make sense? Any-
One little
Oh, gosh.
grammatical shift.
Okay, where
Employed in any capacity, not by.
by shall be in,
Yeah.
sorry,
Other than that,
in.
it gets my re-endorsement.
Okay.
Okay.
In any capacity, in any library in Sumner County.
A lot of ins.
That's a lot of ins.
Would you
Well, you can say
reword
library
that?
within
Sumner
Sumner
County
County.
Library.
Library within library within, thank you. I'm like, there has to be something else that we can do. Within.
In any capacity in a Sumner County library.
I know, it's not y'all's name.
Oh, yeah.
When somebody opens up a private library or something, you just, a city may say, hey, we're having our,
Okay.
stick with what y'all.
What did you say? Oh, okay. And then upon termination of the library director, the library board has the authority. And that was something that was highly recommended to put in, so it shows that we have that authority according to bylaws. Yeah. So,
I guess what I would recommend with that is if you're gonna terminate, you might have an optional agenda item following the termination to discuss interim appointments and then if necessary, vote on. I think that's something that's worthwhile.
so upon termination of library, the library board has the authority to immediately appoint an interim director who shall serve until a library director has been properly
Yeah,
selected.
he brings up a good point, because you're gonna need something in some form of minutes that ratifies that as a group, you all picked this person to be in.
Okay.
Now, having said all that, that does not mean you can't call a special meeting, gets posted as a special meeting, and you do that like within a week.
Okay,
So that's an option, but you do need something to clarify the ratification, so nobody can say one board member made this decision and then there's fighting about that.
okay. So,
But what
has the
would-
authority, go ahead.
What would be the way to just, I can't imagine that any type of termination would be done without some kind of consideration going into the meeting. So is there a way to say that is part of the process, that if someone would be terminated, that it is approved to?
Are you talking about
appoint an
having a
interim?
meeting to terminate the person and at the same time appoint the interim?
Well, I guess I'm just trying to figure out, rather than trying to keep everybody coming back, a week or 2 weeks or whatever later, is there a way to consolidate the actions? If it needs to be separated, that's fine.
If you don't know if the person's going to be terminated until the action is taken by the board.
Okay,
So it might be necessary to have an optional agenda item to consider that
okay.
if the termination proceeds.
So should a termination occur in a meeting, the bylaw approves an optional agenda item to appoint?
No, you don't need to get into all that, because you already have the authority to call a special meeting, and that special meeting will be whatever you call it. It'll be the appointment of an interim.
But that would be a
Director.
separate meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no way around that.
Okay.
You're gonna have to do it, and then that gives you the breathing room to get everything together, and you can even throw it into the next regularly scheduled meeting, or have another special meeting that is for the purposes of hiring the next director.
Okay. So, what are you wanting to add or subtract to this?
Anything, or is it fine?
I think if you leave it the way it is, as long as they're, well, let's clean that up then. Upon termination of the authority to appoint. Maybe authority to, comma, upon special called meeting, comma, and then go on with the rest of it.
Special
Okay, start over and
call,
In the
It
next,
will be almost 100% of the time.
comma, immediately
Plus, it's a
appoint.
cleaner way to cut it too. Doesn't look like you're shoving it into
Into the same meeting.
yeah, we don't wanna look like we're circumventing stuff by
Sure.
shoving it into a new agenda item on a regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay. So upon termination of a library director, the library board has the authority, comma, upon special called meeting, comma, immediately appoint an interim,
to
Director.
immediately appoint.
okay, has the authority, comma, and then upon special called meeting, comma, to immediately appoint an interim director who shall serve until a library director has been properly selected. Does that sound? Yeah. Beth, does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got it. Okay.
Does that grammatically? Because right now
I got
nothing
too
sounds
much going
grammatically
on.
good
I
to
don't
me.
know.
So
Read it again, please, Joanna.
Okay. Upon termination of a library director, the library board has the authority upon special called meeting to immediately appoint an interim director who shall serve until a library director has properly been selected.
Selected or hired?
Should we say hired?
Hired is probably a better word.
Hired? Okay.
And this has nothing to do with personnel committee or anything, it's just talking about, this is your library director, they've been removed, and when they're removed, then we can have a special called meeting to appoint an interim until we can hire somebody else.
That's it.
Is that what it is?
That's right.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
That's what
Yeah.
I call that.
Yeah, because we don't need a personnel committee for an interim.
No.
Yeah, no. Okay. Sound good? Okay. All right.
You're shifting between.
Okay,
many
shift me,
copies.
tell me. Okay.
I'm
All right.
trying to stay with one and write everything on one, so that.
No problem. And then I'm gonna
Okay.
put April notes, May notes. Okay. All right. So did anybody have any problems with the regular meetings and forms? Did you have something you wanted to add here?
Oh, no,
Oh,
we
that was
already
the roll
talked
call.
about
Okay.
it with the time and the roll call.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay with
Okay.
that.
Oh, before I forget, Ruth, any commas or anything, make sure to send them to me because I'm sure you'll catch every comma. Okay.
Once you're done, everything, send it to me.
Okay, you'll hit on the commas
But
and
right
after
now,
all
you
the
still-
sections
I'm
and
still focused
and all
on
this stuff.
the TCA, you still don't have that structure correct in the
Okay.
various spots, but we'll do
I
it
don't know
later.
where I
I'll
have
clean
it.
it up when you
Oh,
send it to me.
I didn't put it,
I'll
I
focus
didn't
on
put
that
the, I
too.
didn't put the.
You didn't put the print,
the
but I'll clean it up when you
parentheses.
send it to me.
Okay. All right. Okay, Robert's Rules of Order, simplified latest edition.
Let's go back to B,
Okay, B.
open meetings.
Okay.
Okay, where's open meetings?
Page 5.
Page 5. on
Okay.
yours.
Oh, there it is,
Yeah.
duh.
Just call it the Tennessee Open Meeting Act, take TCA out.
Jeez, okay, the Tennessee Open Meetings Act.
And if, due to the way these things change and everything, I'd go ahead and strike through chapter 44, section 844-102.
Okay. Okay,
All meetings.
Because it doesn't have a label at this time, because they're in the process of changing.
No, I'm just saying this stuff changes, so you wanna be as
Just say
vague as
Tennessee
possible.
Open
As we've seen with the
Yeah,
new,
okay.
yeah, I mean, it changes.
And
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, I'd probably take everything out after Tennessee Open Meeting Act. All meetings of the library board committees are subject to the Tennessee Open Meetings Act, period. That's all I'd probably put.
okay,
Yeah.
so take out everything else, even by posting on the county's website?
Yes, because then if you forget to do one that wasn't necessarily required, you've automatically made it a requirement.
And this,
Okay.
this section here, if you think about it, this is stuff you are required to do by law anyways. So the whole section might not even be necessary if you want to get down that far to it, it's however you all want to do it.
Okay. Okay, sound good with you guys?
Yeah,
So
just
you
have
know-
that statement in there, knowing we are aware of what we're supposed to do, and we intend to do that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the
Yeah.
first sentence.
Just to leave the first sentence, so
Yeah, uh-huh.
all meetings of the board and committees are subject to the Tennessee Open Meetings Act.
Yep, I'm fine.
Okay,
And then Robert's Rules of Orders, you've got C attached, how is it gonna be attached?
I put that in, someone told me to put C attached, so.
You don't-
But
no,
I put
No,
C
let's
attached,
just-
okay,
let's just
got
scratch
it,
that.
so I just put it in.
And, that's available online, you can do
Okay.
that real quick.
Well, let me ask you, does anybody have a copy?
I have this
Of the new
one.
one, they just changed it.
No.
Yeah, she has a new one right there, that's what
I
it looks
have-
like. Looks
I
like
just
that.
wanna make sure you're not,
We can attach this to it. Just kidding.
I'm not gonna
Staple it
say you
in there.
can't, but
I have this, we'll staple it.
And I have this one,
I'd love to see that.
the condensed one.
Yeah.
All right, so delete C attached.
Okay, yep. Delete C attached,
We got rid of that one.
okay.
Okay.
Now this, coming up next, I'm just gonna make sure that I have that right. Second. Regular meetings, open meetings. Okay, so this next one, it's kind of funny, we're in May. It says, and this is from the old bylaws, it says, officers will be elected in May. It's May right now, and shall assume office in July 1st of the same year, so, do we want to keep that? Seeing as how it's May right now and we're not doing any elections. Well, we just elected a secretary.
We now have a full slate of officers.
For the
I
first
know.
time.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Yes,
Keep in mind, the things you were changing,
They're not
once
effective yet.
once they're in play, they're not retroactive, so you were still working under the old ones. If there's a
Right.
compliance issue, you need to address it.
which we should be electing all officers today then.
Yes.
So we're actually not in compliance today.
Unless y'all have a special call meeting to do that purpose, but before you set that up, I'd go through all of this and make sure you don't have other issues that need to be addressed. If you do, we can lump them all into one special meeting.
Okay,
And then just reference each of the items that are gonna be taken care of, and then you can knock them out by the end of the month.
okay.
Does that
And
make
with
sense,
ladies, I
everyone?
bid you adieu.
So,
Probably wanna keep it.
leave it May, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
yes.
Okay.
So leave it May, but then we have to do a special called meeting though, correct?
To stay in compliance.
Correct.
Because we have to have.
Well, we're not in compliance with.
Well,
other
the
things,
secretary has
too.
been elected in May, so that's fine. It's the chair, and vice chair.
And treasurer,
that
correct.
We would just have to have a special call meeting to have that election. So
Right.
that'll
Okay.
be the first one for right now.
Okay. Okay, so we want to keep that, officers will be elected in May?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then the duty of the chair. Vice chair, secretary. The only other thing that I changed was, that I suggested is if you go to bylaws under D, under Article now 7, committees and bylaws and policy review. I took out the 21 days because right now, there's no law that says it has to be 21 days. And we've been trying to deal with bylaws because of this 30-day thing that's,
Yeah.
there was just a suggestion. It just says, shall have been provided to all members, take out at least 21 days prior to the meeting at which such action is proposed to be taken. So that way we don't put a 21 day, a 2 week, anything, so that we can actually hopefully get things to move along a whole lot faster.
So is that from when the committee votes, the committee will vote to send it to the board, and the board gets it, can they vote on it then that time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way, especially when it comes to bylaws or anything, there's not this. We're under committees.
Page 8.
On page 8, page 8 or page 9?
It's 8 on mine, what you gave us. The laws are done, you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at yours.
So-
Okay, yeah. That's fine. So,
So it's how many, so you're saying, so you're taking all
Yes.
time out?
yes, so the bylaws and policies may be amended by the majority vote of all members of the board, provided written notice of the proposed amendment shall have been provided to all members prior to the meeting at which such action is proposed to be
I
taken.
got you.
So there's no,
Looks like she did.
because this 30-day thing has gotten us moved back, 6 months?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
When we
saying,
discussed this too, was it, you wanted to have a heightened level for amendments to the bylaws? I think we
Yeah.
discussed that before, that might be something that you might want to consider.
And I
yes.
thought that was written somewhere.
Nope, in our bylaws right now,
What
it
about
just
the
says majority.
Robert's rules for changes of the bylaws? What does that say?
I'm gonna look at it
Sorry,
here.
I just,
did I find that?
Maybe.
How, do you have it in your abbreviated section?
Yeah, it might be in your,
Um,
because it's probably one of those questions that come up.
The main motion, description, subsidiary motions. I don't know that it would it be in the Robert's rules? I
I
don't,
don't think so. but
No,
this
I
is-
don't
This is
think-
up to your discretion how you.
this is our discretion. Because as it is right now in these that we have right
30
now.
days.
No.
No.
This is just majority rule.
So it's no timeline for
No,
when
there's
you
no
make the
timeline.
recommendation or when they see it. So you can do it, you can send an email yesterday and you can take it.
No, it has to be at least 48 hours in advance.
Yes, but just 48 hours, is that what you're saying? For some reason, I thought it was,
And we did, you've got bylaws and policies, maybe amended.
does it say anything?
It
there?
formally said 2/3 majority vote, and you took that out and just left majority vote, right?
No, it didn't say 2/3. It said, and that's what we had decided on was majority. Where is amendments? The bylaws may be amended by a meeting. Oh,
Mhm.
well, we did it majority then, because the majority came from the bylaws committee.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's,
saying.
we created a majority.
Yeah.
So do you want to, and that's what we as the bylaws committee said was majority. Do you want to change it back to 2/3?
No, not necessarily. I was just making a point that it is a change.
Okay.
Well, since this is your governing document, the only reason I brought that up is that usually governing documents have the heightened level to prevent, so-called hearing by the majority, to change the governing structure of the body. You all do what you all want to do on that, but it's, that's typically done, with, HOA, things like
Oh,
that.
please don't bring up HOA.
It doesn't say anything.
It's up to you guys, though.
Can I borrow this for a second?
Yeah, to my knowledge, there's no,
I
it
thought it
doesn't
had
have to be.
something to do.
I'm sure it's in here somewhere, it's just not sticking out.
So do you, I know Beverly and Jackie, we had just said majority. Your guys' thoughts, do you want majority or do you want 2/3?
It matters not, majority is fine.
Yeah, I don't want to
Just
say
leave
it's
it
fine.
at majority.
Majority? Okay.
If we run into a problem, we can. If we can-
Revisit it. Yeah,
If we
revisit
see
it.
a
now it won't
problem
take 30
down the
days.
road, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And then the only other thing that I suggested was taking out the public comment part, because that way we're not restricted to 16 minutes and 2 minutes per person, because really we've been just allowing
3 minutes, I think.
like anything.
Three.
And so I was just taking out public comment. That way, if we have a big meeting where we're like, oh my gosh, there's like 50 people here that want to talk, then we can say, hey, everyone gets 1 minute.
Okay.
And-
So,
Well,
leave
we did it the first
leave
one.
the
She took it
article
out.
in, and just public is invited to address the board during those things, the special call meetings, at times determined by the board,
Yeah,
you think? I mean, leave it in there so it's there.
So just in the first says that at least have a notice. It sounds like it needs to have some type of notice in there and a 2/3 vote.
okay. So yes, so we do have a notice.
Okay.
There's a notice, and we will put the notice up there. It just doesn't say what time. It doesn't say it has to have like 21 days. So there will be a notice, of course, because it'll be on the agenda, and then we will get an email out. So, special requirements, okay, a motion to amend the bylaws is a particular case of the motion to amend something previously adopted. Is therefore a main motion, and it is subject to the same rules as other main motions with the following exceptions. Special requirements for this motion's adoption should be specified in the bylaws, and they should also include at least notice and a 2/3 vote, which, with a vote of majority of the entire membership as an allowable alternative. So we already have that, a majority of the
Let me see it.
entire
Yeah,
membership.
exactly.
Yeah. So
And
that,
do we need to have a
That's an
section in here
allowable.
called amendment? Because we don't address that, do we? We got bylaws, but then we,
Those are isolated changes is the name of that section. just isolated changes. General revisions, that would be what we're doing today, which is pervasive, readopting, basically. It's down here.
Does it?
Here it says here.
Amendments to a proposed, well, that's not it.
It says here that bylaws and policies may be amended, and then it says the board provided written notice shall be provided to all members at least 21 days.
Yeah, we took that out.
So we took that out. We took it out somewhere else.
Bylaws and policies may be amended by the majority vote of all members of the board, provided written notice of the proposed amendment shall be.
I don't
Okay.
think there's any requirement that you do 2/3 majority.
Mhm.
It's just something that's, you know, I guess common practice for government documents. It's been my experience. You can do majority vote if you like,
Okay.
but
Okay.
Well,
If it's your recommendation, then it'd be 2/3. Okay with that.
well, because you see, like,
Well-
if you take, for example, United States Constitution, right? You just can't, there's a lengthy process how you go about doing it. It requires, you know, the votes of the House. It's not a simple majority vote of the House and the Senate. It requires
Right.
an elevated, you know, level of elevated majority to get through Congress. And I'm just using that as an example. These are basic governing documents of your organization. And generally speaking, that's how it's, I could say most organizations would do it.
So we
Okay.
should go back to 2/3.
I mean, I think it's our decision.
It's your decision.
There's nothing that
Yeah.
says that we have to do it. So it's just something that if we decide to, I know that we had said majority,
Yeah.
but,
I think the majority is easier to calculate than 2/3.
that's what I'm thinking, like, it's a
Like,
whole
what's
other.
2/3? What's 2/3 of 7?
Yeah. Now, you did bring up an amendment thing, so should we do an Article 9 for amendments?
Well,
Well,
I'm
go ahead.
I have a question too,
Go
like,
ahead.
we're amending, we're making changes, okay? That's what, when you're making an amendment, you're making a change,
But we
right?
haven't even
So
done it on the
we-
document yet.
Right, so
So we can't amend
are we
something
gonna
that's
start
not.
making amendments to our bylaws?
Well, we are amending
That's
the
what I'm
the
saying.
bylaws right now.
We
Because
are.
there's a document
I
there.
understand,
Yeah.
yes, so
So we really
Why
don't need to
do we have,
amend.
why are we adding an amendment section?
No,
Because-
it's not.
Okay.
Okay, there's,
I
amend is
got it.
being used two different ways, as a
Yes.
verb and a noun.
Exactly.
So, the amendment is the written section.
I
that-
know.
Yeah,
I know.
okay,
I got it.
so, we're good?
Okay, well, I don't get it, because it says in here that we're gonna review the bylaws and policies will be reviewed every 2 years. So this is our big review, and we make any changes. A year from now, we wanna add something or delete something. To me, that's more of a single amendment.
Yes.
And so, do we need to address that separately under bylaws and procedures, any amendments? Or, because at some point, we might want to have to do
This
that.
is, so I get where she's coming from. So like in our bylaws that we have right now, we have a section for amendments that won't have to go through the whole bylaw policy committee. So if we just say, hey, you know what, we just, as a board, we're like, you know what, we kind of want to add this. That way, the committee doesn't have to meet.
Yeah.
It could just simply be a simple change
That we address.
that then we could do. So that's what you're saying is to
Yeah.
do an amendment
Are you talking
section.
about the amendments the bylaws we're living under right now?
Correct.
Okay.
So she's suggesting to create just a quick
Another article?
article.
No, not
Yes.
even another article, just another little paragraph underneath bylaws and policy review.
Well, that's the committee.
Oh, yeah.
So we would have to create a whole nother article.
Okay.
We could just say a quick,
We could just do what they have right here, because actually it's.
Well,
Well-
Okay, but if you look at the verbiage that you got right now, you've got, this is under the committees, So you've got budget, finance committee, building committee, personnel committee. You do not have a bylaws policy review committee word in the header.
Right.
So you're not talking about the committee unless you put that in there.
Yeah, I think we
Okay,
need
so I'll
add
need to change
word.
that, because that's what we were doing.
That-
Review
yes.
committee. Okay,
Only thing is.
So
they
this
have
is
30 days.
applying then to what the committee does.
okay.
So the committee reviews it every 2 years and can make changes
Sure.
and all that kind of stuff. Does
So-
that make sense?
I think it'd be
Yes. So
appropriate,
then-
I think it'd be appropriate for any bylaws changes, regardless of whether you do it biannual or not, to go through that committee. 'Cause
So-
that's the committee for it. Even if it's not, you know, like it's, you can put that in there for that. If you want to, if somebody has a change they want to do, you know, to the bylaws, that go through that committee regardless of whenever it is.
Oh,
So maybe that's the way you can
We're living
accomplish
under
that.
this right now. So,
correct. But these are the new bylaws, so.
I know, but what I'm saying is, are you saying that we shouldn't have this in the new, add this, that what we have right now, the amendment?
I don't have the
I don't think
old
he
one I
has
have. Is this the old one right
This,
here?
no, this is the old one. This is the one that we're under right now. See the amendments right there? So then you're saying to any amendments should go through the bylaw review committee,
Yes.
no matter how little.
To study, you know, and to consider.
Okay.
Because that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, any amendments outside
I
of
think
the
that-
biannual review.
So if we suggest it, so say like today, we say, just hypothetically, we were like, hey, you know what, we were talking like maybe there should be a change. Then we would bring that up, then we'd say, hey, can the bylaw committee meet before the next meeting to review this, and then we would bring it up.
Yes.
Okay, so we're good with that?
Yes.
So don't add this amendment thing.
Well, you need to have something in there more than just a biannual basis. It could be, oh yeah, as the committee feels necessary.
Yeah,
There you go.
there
It's
you go.
already in there,
It's
so it's
covered.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's covered.
you're fine.
Yeah, it's there. Okay, we beat that to death.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
now wait, before, you
Yes.
mentioned this briefly,
okay, yes.
what was Article 9/11, whatever it's gonna be.
Public.
So, under public comment,
We're taking
it-
out everything, but public is invited to address the board during regular roundtable study committee and special call committees.
meetings.
Meetings.
Okay. So
And
we're
so just that
taking
one
out
sentence.
the 16 minutes,
Mhm.
each speaker being limited to 2 minutes.
We're taking out everything but that first
Everything else.
sentence.
Got it.
Okay.
Do we need a sentence saying that timing will be addressed by the board at the time? You know, or just leave it like it
Just
is
leave
and
it
we can
and
do
then
that
you can-
ourselves? Do we have that?
Well, the question is, do you have that
You can
authority?
structure the public comment section any way you like, because it's not required by law.
Okay,
Add
so if we just
comment.
have a public comment section and they want to speak, then we can say you have 2 minutes.
Yes,
Or
it's
you can
not
say you have
required.
5 minutes.
It's not
Right.
required by law to allow the public to speak at a
Okay.
meeting, but if you do.
So that's at our
That's
discretion
at your
anyway.
discretion.
So then this leaves it open that if we see that 50 people sign up, we go, y'all have 1 minute. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Or if 10 people show up, then you, that would be at the
Right,
board's
yeah.
discretion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. How does that sound?
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we still left it open, that they're welcome to
Sure.
address the board.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's been at our discretion all along, then that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so,
Can I go backwards a little bit?
yes.
Under budget and finance committee,
Okay.
the first, well, yes, it's the second paragraph, the first sentence.
Which article?
And she's on.
Page.
The new 7,
She's on.
Okay,
Page
The other
7,
one.
yes.
where it says the committee shall make recommendations to the board on fundraising.
Mhm.
The libraries don't necessarily fundraise, that's the library friends groups that fundraise.
It's in the Tennessee code that we can actually do fundraising as a library board.
But then it all gets dumped into the general fund, unless you set up special agreement with finance.
No. That we can recommend that the libraries do special fundraising.
Right.
We wouldn't do it, but maybe we can say, hey, you know what, to the library directors, we have this idea for fundraising.
Okay.
So, because under Tennessee law, it says that we actually are supposed to be organizing fundraising. I'm like, oh, we are? Like, I don't wanna do
Never
that.
happened in Sumner County,
Any
but I'm
deposit
wondering-
we make is gonna go to general fund though. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And we don't get it.
Yeah, we don't get that money back.
And then you
It
lose
goes in
it.
the general
Yeah.
fund.
$5,000 to the general.
That's why the Friends are totally
So,
in
yeah,
charge.
so that's why we don't do that as a board.
Right.
Is there anything in here that talks about the Friends of the Library?
No,
or-
and we
I
don't
think it
govern
should.
them.
Okay.
Okay, so the libraries themselves don't do fundraising. Okay, but we could,
The library board does not do fundraising.
Nor do the
Correct.
And they
library.
don't, it's their friends
It's a
organization.
Friends of, so I think that's confusing to me.
okay,
Yeah.
I think it's mouth, but
okay, so recommendations to the board on fundraising. I mean, that's fine, I was just going from the Tennessee law.
I understand.
So do you want me to take that out?
Well, all it's saying is it's a recommendation, it's
Yeah.
not like it's a
Okay,
stipulation if they have to do it, it's just saying, hey, you know, we'd like to pay for new XYZ, what do you guys think? You know, talk to the library friends and see if they
Okay.
wanna do something.
Or you can change shall to may.
committee,
May, I
may
like
make,
may,
okay,
yes.
Yeah.
may make, okay. May make recommendations
Budget.
on fundraising.
And it's the.
Okay, now underneath that, the Budget and Finance Committee shall vote on a chair and said chair? Said chair? It just sounds fine.
Okay,
And who shall, or who will, vote on a chair, who will
Who
serve
will.
as the financial.
a lot of this stuff I copied and pasted
I
from
have
other.
no
from
doubts. I have
other,
no
like,
doubts.
Okay, I'm just copy
There
and
is
pasted.
no blame directed
Yeah,
at
no.
anybody.
Who
No,
will
said
serve?
chair.
No blame.
So
I
what
was
if
like-
we just decide on the fundraising, are we taking that out?
We're leaving it in, but
May.
we're taking, the
It
committee
may
may make recommendations to the
And
board.
if they ever ask, we say, we just don't have any recommendations to
Yep.
make.
Right.
There you go.
We don't recommend.
Okay, so Budget Finance Committee shall vote on a chair who will serve as the financial liaison with the county.
Okay. Any member may choose to have county address.
Here's a thought about that. The chair of the budget committee, you also elect a treasurer separately, right?
Which is one and the same.
Which is one and the same. So it says elect the chair of the budget committee, but doesn't say it's, we'll just say it's a treasurer.
Well, somewhere it says the
It says that.
treasurer is the chair of the budget committee. Not
Just
right there.
shall
Some-
vote
No,
on a chair.
we took
It
that
doesn't-
out.
it
It says the
doesn't say that on
treasurer
here.
will serve on the budget and finance committee.
It might be conservation resources just to have the treasurer serve as the chair who coordinates with the finance department, right? And it's, and you do that
Because it
already.
was in the old bylaws that way.
Right.
Okay.
So we
That might
probably
be a
need to put that back.
suggestion for that.
Yeah, I vote for the treasurer being the chair.
Okay,
And then where it says Budget and Finance Committee shall give a monthly update to the board, we don't meet monthly.
okay.
I don't know what
How
you
about
wanna-
quarterly
I don't know what you want to say, but
Time.
I would just say
or timely?
the Budget
Timely.
and Finance Committee will give a report at each board meeting.
Shall give a,
Report
Financial update
Update.
report.
shall give
at regularly called board meetings.
an updated report. Updated report.
Financial report.
Financial.
Yeah.
Financial report at
Regularly called board meetings.
regularly.
Because you don't, sometimes you'll need it at a special, but you don't always.
Library. Board meetings. Okay. We really, I think we had said that we were gonna do their reports before the bylaws. I don't think we did that now. I was like, I was like, is that it's
know.
almost 4:30.
Well,
So,
I told you I would do that.
yeah, I totally
So we could get through this.
Oh, that's right, we
I
switched
told
it, that's
you I
right,
would
you're
switch it
right.
So we could get
I was
through
like, I
this.
just feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on a second. So Budget and Finance Committee, the treasurer will serve as the chair.
Yes.
Yes.
of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Yes.
Serve as the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. So the Budget and Finance Committee chair will serve as a financial liaison with the county and will ask for data and information from the directors. Okay.
Because that seems the most logical, is having possibly two people do it, just have one person do it.
Sure.
And then paragraph 3 just needs to be that the chair, the Budget and Finance Committee chair will serve as the financial liaison.
The Budget and Finance Committee chair, yeah, will serve, yeah,
Right.
serve as the
Well, we
financial
take out
liaison.
the shall vote on a chair.
Yes, I took that
Yeah.
out.
Okay, good.
However, any committee members, okay?
And for that last paragraph there, it says the Budget and Finance Committee shall give a monthly update. I know you're all trying to figure out how often that's gonna be, but the committee's not gonna be giving the update, probably the chair is.
Right, true.
So you might want
The
to.
Budget and Finance Committee chair
Yeah.
We don't have it.
shall give an updated financial report at regularly called library board meetings. Okay? Alrighty?
Okay. We're done. We're done with that. Do we vote? Say yes? With corrections?
Subject to change.
Yeah, subject to change.
Okay,
Okay.
this has
one
only
quick-
been a 6-month.
Oh, one quick question, back to the public comments. Should that be under the section of the meetings?
Say that again.
Oh, instead of
Should
its
the-
own
should the
section?
Public, yeah, instead of its own section.
No,
Should
that
the
would make
public
sense.
comments be under the part of where we talk about the process for the meetings?
Under regular meetings and quorum?
So
Open
rules of
meetings.
order, so make it a D,
Yes.
Yeah.
so make it D, public comment.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
and then we don't have to have that
Yep.
separate
I like that
section.
all right. Under meetings, okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does that sound good?
21 days.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Good question.
Okay.
Okay.
There's the back.
Any other? Any other things?
On the personnel committee,
Personnel committee, okay?
is the, how much is the entire board involved in evaluations?
That's gonna be something that we're gonna create under policy.
Okay, it just sounds like this is really the personnel committee only. I'm just wondering, are you asking for input from the entire board, or is it just the personnel committee who's doing the evaluation?
Well, the personnel committee will do the evaluations. This is what I thought that we were gonna do, and then we present those evaluations to the board.
Okay, so you're not getting input, you're not all filling out a form, just,
And then
Is
when we
that-
bring it to the board, then the board members can say whatever they want to about them.
okay.
So, yeah, but that way, the committee, which is the personnel committee, are the ones doing the evaluation, but then we bring it to the whole board and say, hey, does anybody have any input?
And then you're having a conversation, then you're actually doing the
Discussion, yeah.
one-on-one with the director.
What do you
Oh.
mean?
I'm just, so so the committee is sitting down and writing down comments and that kind of stuff, making summaries, without the input from the entire board, and then you're bringing it to the board, and that's
Are you
when.
talking about when we're hiring a new director?
No, I'm
or
talking about
doing
the
it
annual
for-
evaluation.
The annual
Evaluation.
evaluation.
I'm just wondering, at some point, does the entire board get input on the comments that are going to the directors?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do the evaluation, and then we're gonna bring it to a board, and then the board, it would be on the agenda to look over evaluations and any other input from the board.
It'll be like a docketing thing, I believe, the way you have it written.
A what?
There won't be any action taken by the board as written, it'll just be the personnel committee So basically an FYI kind of thing for the board at large, the way it's written right now.
That's what, yeah, exactly. I'm just wondering if that needs to be.
I know exactly what I just got through with that video, because they were talking about the evaluations and bringing in other people, and that doesn't address that. I hadn't even thought about that till I saw it.
Well, and then so then what we can do is because the personnel committee is the ones that's gonna do the evaluations.
But
So
somewhere
then,
we need input from
Yeah, you can just
the
ask.
board
Yeah.
on
So
those
then,
evaluations.
and shall be
Instead of
made
the
available to the
package.
members of the board. The personnel committee shall do a yearly evaluation of each library director and shall be made available to members of the board.
Yeah, that just.
Which shall be, okay, so the yearly evaluation is gonna be made available, it doesn't state that, but,
And shall be made available to the members of the
no,
board.
you don't have a noun to go with that. So, you got the personnel committee shall do a yearly evaluation of each library director that shall be made
Okay.
available to members of the library board.
That shall be made available to the members of the library board.
Now, what happens when the library board gets it? That's
Yeah.
what the question
And
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
you know,
So
like I
then,
said, the way it's written now, it's just
do-
an FYI kind of thing.
Right, so
Yes.
then
Okay.
the question is, do
Do we
they?
vote to approve the evaluation?
Right, that's,
Okay.
the following
Reject the
piece, the
evaluation.
following step is what needs to be
It shall be
clarified.
made available to the members of the board for vote.
For further review,
Yes,
For-
input, and approval.
yes,
For- okay.
yes, yes.
For
Yes,
further,
thank you.
for further
Review.
review,
Input and approval.
review, input, and approval. How does that sound
And
for you?
approval.
Well, review, I mean, review is input, right? I mean.
No,
not
because I can
necessarily.
look at something and see and
Yeah.
go, okay,
Yeah, fine.
but the
That's-
input
there's
is,
nothing-
oh, wait a
there's nothing
minute,
wrong with-
Stephen needs
There's
to.
nothing wrong with, I'm just
Okay.
saying, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
the grammatician.
No, I
you know.
want input, Stephen.
Okay,
review.
for further
Anybody vote for approval?
review, input, and approval. How does that sound?
Right.
Good?
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, just what a lot of boards do is that they have an evaluation form that they send out to each board member. So each one of you are just as important. It doesn't matter if you're on the personnel committee. And that can be sent to the board chair or be sent to the personnel committee for them to kind of summarize. So that's usually how it goes. It goes kind of from the big to the smaller and then goes back. So.
Okay. And I
But
think,
that's obviously up to you, but
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you get,
So does that,
it doesn't matter if you're on the personnel committee, your voice should be just as.
right, well, the question is whether or not it needs to be in bylaws or whether that's more policies and
Mhm,
procedures.
mhm.
Yeah.
The actual
I guess
step-by-step.
it's just the way that I was reading it, it
Sure.
sounded like this was kind of covered, so.
okay, gotcha. And I think that we had talked last time that policy, we'd figure out the whole evaluations, because I know you had said you
I've
wanted to
got
have
a piece
evaluations.
Yeah.
that we have worked on,
Okay,
so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, or you can take that and go from there.
Yeah,
It's required.
Yeah.
okay. So the personnel committee shall do a yearly evaluation of each library director that shall be made available, that shall be made available to members of the board for further review, input, and approval. We like it?
I just wanted to comment here just about the approval of the bylaws in general. Since we're making changes today,
Those are the old ones. Okay, go
yes, but
ahead.
they're still the ones we're operating under right now.
Yes.
We'd have to wait 30 days before final approval of these bylaws. Just want to make sure
Yes,
everyone's
I
aware of that.
I
It says
know.
here, discuss and vote on bylaws. I just want to make sure that it's clear.
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
what she said.
And that is why
earlier.
we're
Yeah.
getting rid of any
That's
timelines
right.
anymore.
I know that.
It takes
Is that-
forever.
was that the beginning?
Yeah, she said, yeah, we're waiting this 30 days, so
Right.
yeah. That's
Which we
right.
don't
Yeah.
have a meeting.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
have a
It'll be
meeting.
July.
That's
There's
right.
a fall. There's
Yeah.
a July.
Yeah.
So,
Wanted-
okay,
wanted
so we can approve these changes, but then we have to have a special called meeting.
We can just do it the next regular meeting. I mean,
That'd be
whatever
July.
you
Well, but if
That
we're
would be
gonna
July.
More than 30
No.
days.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, if we're doing a special call, no, we still have to do 30 days. I'm like,
You know, you'd have to make sure it was 30 days.
Yep.
And that wouldn't be hard in May, because it's a 31-day
Yeah,
month.
right.
So you could do the 10th of June, which is a Saturday, you would want to do that, but you know.
Yeah, and I'll be in California, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Handle
Yeah, you need another special call meeting in May anyway.
Okay.
So you'll have
like
two special call
Tom says.
meetings.
We can't do it May, because we don't have 30 days left.
Oh,
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
that's why I
But
suggested
we have
maybe
to have
waiting
the
until
elections.
July, because you're gonna have one of these
Just,
special call
yeah,
meetings.
just let him ride. Just,
You'll be
yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Go to California, let's
Thank
just
you.
let,
All right, and just, so when Joanna sends it to me and I go crazy with commas,
Right.
and Beth can help with that too. if you
No,
think that-
I'm just saying that we discussed what was going on today.
Okay, no, that's fine, I just wanna make sure that, I'm gonna amend the Tennessee Code annotated parentheses TCA as appropriate, blah, 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 without running it past everybody.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, and
Okay.
so then we
Sure.
could vote and say, hey, these are the changes, and that any grammatical errors or anything
Punctuation or
that she
whatever.
does will just be automatically accepted. Would that be okay?
Fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to,
I added a comma quick.
because we have to do a special
Yeah,
called
and
meeting
the-
anyways
I think
in
the
May.
spirit of these are, substantive amendments and not grammatical.
Okay,
The
yes.
spirit of these.
Can I ask a question? Under Personnel Committee, it says the vice chair will serve on the Personnel Committee. I don't remember that being in the old bylaws. Is that something new?
Yes, we created that, and the reason that I think that we talked about it when we created that was so that the vice chair would have some type of having to serve on some committee. That's what we talked about.
Okay.
We had just said that we thought that the vice chair should have some type of having to commit because the chair was doing everything. So we had just,
Well,
we put
we're all
that in
on
there.
2 committees or more as it is, so I just thought that was.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
can-
remember that from before.
Yep, that's been in there ever since we created them, but it's up to you guys. I can take that out of there. It doesn't matter to me.
Well, to me, that's just the same as the treasurer serving on
Right.
finance, so.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we're done.
Is
Well,
there
hold on,
anything
hold on,
else,
hold on.
Okay, hold on.
anything else that anybody wants to
Well,
contribute
we've
to the
got-
discussion?
Okay, well, we've got that the treasurer will serve as the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee.
Right.
And then we don't say anything about the chairs for the other committees.
Well, and the reason I mentioned that was that the chair of the finance committee is the financial liaison with the
Right.
county.
Yes,
And that was the
and-
only reason for,
But I guess,
Yeah.
and that makes sense, and I understand that. I'm just wondering, do we need to say anything about the process for the chairs on the other committees? I'm
Well,
saying no,
somewhere
no.
in there it says that the committees will elect their chair.
Yeah, and the personnel
Yeah.
committee, it says the vice chair will serve. It doesn't say that they're going to be the chair.
You know, you're right, because,
That's right.
and it should say that, I think, is what Steve was saying, because down here it says the Budget and Finance Committee shall vote on a chair.
Yeah, we
And
already
then-
took that out.
Oh, we took that out.
Yes, we took that out.
And
Catch up, I've
reworded
got
it.
too many copies.
I know, me
I
too.
got 3
we-
copies of these.
We
right
took
here.
Yeah, I
that
don't-
out. The budget
That's
chair
right.
shall give, oh, there it is. Oh dear. The Budget and Finance Committee chair will serve as the financial liaison with the county and will ask for
Okay,
data.
so in the paragraph above
But I think we
A,
need to say that
in the middle, it
treasurer
says
will
that
be the chair.
the
Chair will
committee will
serve
vote on a
as the
committee chair.
chair of
Right.
the
Okay,
Budget and
right,
Finance
okay,
Committee.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then we
we're
got
good.
the other one.
We're good.
Okay, what were you saying?
She's good.
Okay. Okay,
So what we're
Follow your
voting
roadmap.
on,
yes.
so what we're voting on is what we were sent in green.
Yes.
Green, okay, plus
Yes.
the additions that we've just discussed today.
Correct.
From yours.
Correct.
Is that
Yes,
correct?
some of the ones that we
That will be
added.
sent out,
Yes.
right?
And we're gonna get a whole fresh copy
Yes.
before,
Yes.
before the meeting to vote.
Yes, so I will get this, yes, yes.
The initial paragraph here for committees is each committee will vote on a committee chair. You might want to put each committee, comma,
Okay,
with the
hold on a
exception of the
second.
Budget and Finance Committee, will vote on a committee chair.
Okay.
Okay, committees, each committee shall vote on a committee chair with the exception,
Yeah, or however you want to structure that.
with the exception
Budget and Finance Committee.
of the budget and finance committee,
Comma.
comma.
I think it's the end of the sentence.
That's a sentence, that's the end of the sentence.
No, it's a parenthetical expression. Each committee will, comma, with the exception of
Okay.
finance, comma.
Each committee
vote on the chair.
will, comma, with the
I'll clean it up
exception.
when I get it.
Okay,
It's obvious who
I hear
who's
ya.
above expectation in the third grade keycaps.
vote and comma. Okay, I gotcha.
Above expectation, way above
In
expectation.
Florida, I got an 8 on the 8 for the essay. So there.
Okay, all right.
Is it clear in your mind,
Yes.
everything?
Yes. And I have got everything in here, and I will send you guys any and all, and then, I'm clear. I'm very clear.
Okay.
I wrote down absolutely everything that we have been
Well,
talking
she's
about.
got 2 copies too, so between
Yeah,
Yeah,
the 2 of you.
I've been trying to write down.
I wrote down
Okay,
May revisions.
okay, so we had a motion on the floor to discuss in a second, right? So, where do we go from here?
What you might want to do is approve these preliminarily,
Approve these
pending the official,
changes.
pending the 30-day waiting period,
Okay,
So-
so,
A motion to approve,
preliminarily
The-
approve.
preliminarily approve these changes.
Pending the 30
Pending the
day.
30 day, I'm like, how do you want me to word this? Pending the 30-day bylaws amendments requirement.
okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Debbie seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
So, we now have this is our story and we're sticking to it.
That's it.
So as soon as you can get
Oh.
those,
Yeah, she's gonna do
and
that,
then,
okay.
and we will just say,
Revisions.
for the moment, we can wait until July.
Yes.
To approve these, yes.
Unless
Because
you have
that'll-
2 special call meetings
No.
in there or something.
Yeah. So,
Okay, all
I mean, I'm
right.
here all day, every day, so I mean, whatever you want to do.
It's like, come on.
And you
just
just
love
want
hanging
to
out
see
here,
us,
don't
right?
all right, moving on to the next, the budget committee, and these are the county budget hearings. I know that the director sat through that with Diane.
Okay.
And she's got a budget report to give us if anybody wants to.
Did I give it
No,
Oh,
I didn't make
Well,
it.
she sent it out. I printed
Oh,
it
she
off.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I may have missed it, I
yeah.
apologize.
I got it.
For fiscal year 2023, there were several budgetary transfer items that got addressed on Monday night. Those were all approved. Primarily, they were salary related or benefit related. So those all got approved with no questions asked. I know that for this fiscal year, as we're winding down, you all got an email from finance about making sure you're getting your transfers in. I think that's the date of June 1st, I think. So make sure that you're doing that. We need to make sure that we can get as close to zero on our non-salary related items or line items. Staffing and salary, we're gonna have a gap, mainly just because we've had vacancies. We've got Alicia doing 2 jobs, but only getting paid at the lower rate. And then there was some money that was transferred for additional salaries for 2023, but that didn't mean that you automatically were paying a new person. So there were some gaps, but that can be explained. We just want to start off the right way in the new fiscal year. For fiscal year 2024, I attended the meeting on May 4th, which you guys were all there as well. I had an additional separate meeting with Matt Schauf after the May 4th. Some of the comments to him was that you remember that we asked for a 4% COLA and then a 4% across the board at the bottom for non-salary items. My approach is if you don't ask, you won't get it. They can always tell you no. After my discussion with Matt, I do not think that the 4% COLA is going to fly. I think it'll be something less than that. And also the 4% across the budget, the non-salary items across the board, that won't fly either. However, you know, we can do what we can do, and I can argue as much as I'm up for the fight.
It's looking like 2% right now, I believe.
For
That's not
COLA.
official, but that's what they're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But until I see that, I don't want to
Right.
commit one way or
I
the
know, I'm
other.
just FYI.
What I need from you guys is that by Monday, it can be end of day Monday, is fine. I need you to go back and look at the original budget sheets that you had before we added the 4%. And I need you to send me an email for any items, and this can only be a few, maybe 3, maybe 4 at the very, very most. That you feel that if you don't get an increase in that line item, that you're gonna have to shut the door, or you're gonna have to let programs go. And so I need to know how much and what is your rationale for asking for whatever you're asking for. And I need that by the end of day, Monday, the 15th. I will then go in and update those budget sheets, but why I'm asking you to send it to me in an email is because when I go to the special call meeting later in the month, I need to have documentation that's your rationale for why you're asking for additional money. I can't just add $300 and not have a reason. So that's what's going on right now. So we're winding down, we need to get our money spent and then get on to the new fiscal year. Hopefully, we'll get these approved, the budgets will get approved before July 1st, but I have no guarantee. Some of you have been through when they don't get approved until October. And then we have to go back and ask for special permission to order toilet paper and things like that. So, you know, we'll just hope for the best, and that's why we need to be as clear as we can be. Any questions? Amy, you look like you have a question.
It was kind of a smart aleck question, but I should probably buy some more toilet paper and paper towels just in case.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Absolutely.
yes, I told
Tissues
Alicia.
too, but-
Yeah.
The tissues.
Yes, tissues,
The
tissues
thing
are
is that, you know, use up your money. If you don't have money, now, I will say that some of us are probably looking at, doing something with our janitorial contracts. And that probably will no longer include supplies. So if you've got money that you need to spend, good for you, Amy. Buy toilet paper, buy paper towels.
After everything,
You
you
can-
can never
you can-
have too much toilet
Yeah.
paper.
You never know when there'll be another run on toilet paper.
No, you never know. So, you know, we almost had to have a sign-up sheet for our staff in Hendersonville when the pandemic was, because you couldn't buy toilet paper. And I said, guys, if you really need a couple rolls of toilet paper, here's the sign-up sheet. Bring it back when the pandemic is over. But I'm not gonna have somebody not have a roll of toilet paper at their house. So, so that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, I don't have a question, I just had a second, because I was at the meeting the other night too. I just found it interesting that we fought so hard to get all of our libraries separated back out.
Yeah,
And the first thing that David Line did was show a spreadsheet that had all of the libraries grouped back together again.
right, with some wrong numbers.
With some numbers on there that, yeah, I
That
don't
weren't
know
right.
where they came from.
Yeah, and I'm
So,
kind of
you know,
standing there like, you know, because I sleep them. I think I dream these numbers in my head every night, and I'm
Because I think
thinking,
if they would look at the individual budgets, they would have looked totally different to the committee, rather than us all being grouped back together.
well,
So
and Matt
I-
even said, he goes, when I talked to him later on, I said, Matt, I left that meeting being very confused
Yeah.
because those were not my numbers. And I said, he goes, yeah, me too. He says, I knew that you were not asking for $300,000.
Right.
And I said, no, I was not. And they were grossly mistaken by the salary
So I don't know if
adjustment.
at the special meeting, if they could individually look at the budgets. I
Well,
think,
we're
you know,
gonna have to look at them individually because of some of the lines that you may wanna slightly increase. So, you know, whether or not they look at that as a whole again and then say, okay, you know, Hendersonville wants a couple, Portland wants a couple here, and then they look at what that grand total is. I will have a sheet prepared, kind of a summary sheet. And then I intend to, after Monday, I intend to send those sheets, those corrected sheets back early next week.
Would you like David to come down here if he's still here?
No,
No, okay.
we know where we're at.
All right.
Thank you
If it
anyway.
was useful, I'll know, you know.
Yeah, No, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diane.
I think what happened.
I think it's just gonna take time for people to get out of that mindset of it all together, so.
Right.
it'll
Well,
just
and
take a
they've
little bit of
always kind of looked at the libraries kind of as on the budget, they looked at it as libraries, and then, but we had 5 children, you know? And so they look at the trustee's office and the deed's office, and so they've always kind of put us, even though they broke it out individually, but at the top, it was always just libraries. So I think that, you know, they're in that mindset. They were also, I don't want to say they were confused, because I don't want to say that, but, you know, the libraries were very different because the majority of our staff is part-time. And so when the salary adjustments came out and that survey came out, that was supposed to be just for full-time. But because we're so heavy in part-time, they allowed the salary adjustment dollars to be spread across full-time and part-time. And I think when they reported them to the budget committee the other day, they just pulled from full-time, is what I think happened. So it was okay. It was just like, I looked at it, that number's not right. So anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Diane.
Mhm.
Okay, to the next item, the Personnel Committee. The Director Job Description Review, Discussion, and Vote. Do I have a motion to get it on the floor?
Yes.
Diane makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie seconds, okay. All right, so we'll listen to the discussion and we'll get to a vote.
Yeah. I sent this to you. The only person that came back with a change was Debbie. I made both of those changes. And, I mean, it's pretty to the point.
And I do have one more thing.
Okay.
Or a couple of things to ask.
Okay.
All right, it looks like B
Okay.
and Q are exactly the same.
Oops. Yep. Because I copied and posted.
Yeah,
Forgot to
yeah,
take
yeah.
it out.
And I'm reading it
Okay.
again.
Yep.
And then my second thing is, throughout this, I think we're referencing patrons, clients, or should we make sure we address those the same? Which would,
Use the same terminology.
yes, yes.
Okay. So you
yeah.
want, okay.
Like
can
patrons.
So just say patrons instead of clients?
Yes, yeah.
So
yeah,
replace,
yeah. And I'm sorry, I should have.
no problem, patrons,
Mm-hmm.
for clients,
Yeah.
okay?
And you got rid of White House and put Miller.
I did.
She did that, yeah.
Okay.
And the only other
Oh, I'm doing a
thing
project in White House, so I just went, White House.
is on M, what is
M,
culling?
That's when you weed out your old books. That's what it's called,
So that's-
calling.
Yeah,
M or
that's a,
N?
yeah, that's a normal.
M.
library.
M.
That's a library term.
All right, and the,
It's also something
in
you can
accordance.
as well.
Well,
that's
in
where I was
accordance
going
with
with it, I'm like-
ECA recommendations should go at.
So that's culling is
Somewhere in
Weeding.
there, but it's,
Weeding.
right now it's
Weeding.
just a sentence phrase line needs to be attached.
Okay.
With a comma, so you can do community,
What,
comma, and
weeding or
accordance with
what?
regulations.
Got it.
Well, that word I've never heard, so I.
Weeding.
Weeding is always what I use.
Yeah.
So you wanna put weeding?
Put
Yeah.
weeding
I just
there.
took what was on there, so
Yeah.
weeding. Now I'm gonna be like, what are they weeding at the library?
And I was like, what cows are coming in?
I was gonna say, our farmers will know that.
That's what I did, I was like,
Get rid of the
I would know what that meant.
thank you,
Okay.
Joanna.
Yep.
The only other thing here, we're on D, where it says communicate all emergencies to Sumner County Library Board. I think we also say and risk management as appropriate.
Okay.
Because if somebody falls down and gets hurt, you have to send a form to
Risk.
risk management, and that's Sumner County Risk Management.
Management
Yeah.
Sumner
and
County.
Sumner County
Yeah, otherwise, I think it's
risk management as
as appropriate.
appropriate. Okay.
Very good, very
This
good.
is missing a comma.
Where?
Hires, trains, and terminates employees, comma, as necessary.
Hires, trains, and terminates employees, comma, as necessary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I think that's great.
I haven't seen this before. I'm just wondering, do you have any, anything about, I'm sure you do, just professional development and continuing education? So,
Remain current on new development and library operations and apply them effectively on the job. Effectively supervise and direct the ability. What is it that you're asking
So
for?
right now, we have a requirement that library directors have to do a certain amount of training hours every year.
Can that go
And
over
so, and this,
licenses,
and
certificate?
and it could very well be in here, I just want to just,
No, it wasn't in there
I don't think we
before.
talked about that at
No.
all.
Yeah,
That
it
should
wasn't.
be
Could it go
in there
here?
somewhere.
Under library license or
Down on
other
page
requirements.
They ought to know that should be higher than that.
Oh, is it over here?
Well, I think it has to get, it must obtain
this
a
is
library
the library
certification.
yeah, it's just kind of
Yeah, that's what we're
you know, it's
looking
just
at.
part of your, I think it should be part of your essential job duties is that, you know, you attend professional development.
We could add it right under there.
Continue
Because
personal
in this
development.
license, it is more like, this is already something that you have when you enter the job.
You can replace Q with that.
So, yes, so we can just put,
As per the library service agreement or something like that, this
okay,
is already in the
so
training
as
requirement.
per, library agreement, you were a director.
25, I mean, I don't know if you want to put the
I don't wanna
exact
put,
number.
I don't wanna put an
Yeah.
exact
Because
number.
it's different by the
Yeah.
level. of
Yeah,
library.
yeah, exactly.
So
Just
as,
so they know they're gonna have to do some.
But the directives will be the same, but that
Well,
must still
it's
change.
just
to,
Yeah.
just
Just
maintain
change, yeah.
continuing education
Is it
hours.
Per
Yes.
library or
It's part
Per
of the
state
agreement.
requirements.
So right now
Okay,
it's
so
24
what-
hours
what-
for
what-
library
so-
director.
Wanna put that in?
Maintain,
Yeah, unless it changes.
maintain
That's
and
Yeah.
complete
24 hours
necessary training,
and complete
necessary training
necessary
per state
per
requirement.
state requirement. Okay.
I mean, you might want to put 25 hours since that is what it is right now.
I'm not gonna, I don't wanna put a number. I think that we wouldn't wanna put a number because it could change and then we're gonna have to go and change this. So I say per state
Requirement.
requirement. I think
That's
we'd,
fine. Yeah, or
state
They're
requirement.
doing 25 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it could change.
The only other
So
thing.
if we put per state requirement, then we don't have to change any of
No,
this.
First that
The
Per
only
state
other,
requirement.
yeah, under license certification, certificates and other requirements about, you have to have a driver's license and then you must obtain a library certification in Cecilia, that's that PLMI. But, if you do not hold a MLS or
Yeah.
MLIS
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
Right.
think both of these may be education experience because it's, I mean, according to the state standards, which is something that we recommend, it's a little bit different from a director that is leading a library like Westmoreland, somebody leading a library like Hendersonville. So it's, and the recommendation is that you have a MLS, that you have master's degree in library science if you're leading a level 5 library. So that might be something you want to add into this because this is covering
Well-
very different libraries.
Which I
At
agree
least
with
for
what
the
you're saying.
education part, I think that might be something.
But
But-
I think
yeah.
that if you don't have an MLS, then you need to commit to getting
And that-
the
yeah,
PLMI
exactly.
certification.
Which
Because I
we-
don't want to eliminate somebody because they don't have an MLS
No,
degree.
No, and yeah, that's fine, but you might want to include MLS in here somewhere. Maybe not as
Oh.
a requirement, but
Yeah, so you've got that.
Well, that's what the library certification within the first 5 years, and that's what you're talking about. So we
Yeah.
have it, put that in there.
yeah, but that is for librarians who does not have a
An MLS.
have
Yeah.
an MLS.
Correct.
But
So,
we don't want to say that you have to
No,
have an MLS.
correct.
No, but you might also want to add it in here, as not as a requirement, that you want to mention it, because right now you only have a bachelor's degree.
or or
I'm just,
typically
it's just covering a very wide,
Okay, so how about if we say bachelor's degree, comma, MLS, comma, MLIS, comma, or obtain the library certification within the first
Yeah,
5 years.
Okay,
yeah.
you're gonna have to say that all again.
I will.
Okay,
Start with
comma,
bachelor, comma,
Mhm.
MLS,
MLS,
comma, MLIS,
mhm,
or, and then start down here,
must obtain.
yeah. So then you're gonna get rid of must obtain down there because you moved it up.
Okay, so we're just gonna take this and move this up here,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, you did perfect.
All right.
Okay, back to the grammar Nazi.
Ah, jeez.
We're so close.
Okay,
Okay, you've got, okay, these all.
are we on the same one, or are we on a different spot?
Different spots, so tell
Okay.
me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Where am I going to?
Okay, well, at the beginning, under the essential job duties, you're starting with verbs, which is all fine, and they are current, so ensures, assists, reports, should be communicates. So the syntax just needs to match.
Okay.
Now, listens, develops, resolves, that's all fine, but on the second page, then you're getting into, under S and T,
Attends.
should be attends.
Okay.
And then you should start with a verb, so reconciles and processes all invoices and payroll through the Sumner
my
County.
God. You're cracking me up.
I'm just telling you, if you're gonna do
Does
it,
it
do it
all
right.
have to be verbs?
It
Like,
does have to be verbs.
It
Syntax has to match.
oh my word, jeez Louise. Why didn't you say this when we were in the
I
meeting?
did.
No, you
I
did not.
I'm
No,
sure I
you
did.
didn't.
Just put it in, hey, here's a solution, just put it in German, you have no
Reconciles.
idea how to.
Exactly, reconciles. Okay.
Reconciles.
And processes payroll.
Reconciles and processes all invoices and payroll.
Payroll and invoices.
Whatever, I don't care the
Process.
sequence.
I put this exactly how we put it.
Oh.
Reconciles and processes
All invoices.
all
Invoices
All-
and payroll.
invoices, okay,
And payroll.
and payroll.
And then through the Sumner County financial system.
All right, reconciles and processes all invoices and payroll through the Sumner County financial system.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what
I'm
do
good
I?
with that.
Okay.
Now, and we did the ABCD, which was good, but we didn't do ABCD for the other bullets.
Did you? I didn't know that you wanted that.
I wanted them all ABCD because then that way if we're referring to something, we
Okay.
can say, okay, well, what about E versus, okay. the
Are
one
we
that's
under
on-
knowledge and skills?
Yes.
So you want all these
I want
alphabetized
ABCD.
too?
Now, you have
Okay.
knowledge of under the second bullet when you already have knowledge of above that.
What?
So,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't change
Knowledge.
anything.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying we gotta
Okay,
take
knowledge
that out.
of, okay.
Knowledge of,
All
and then from above, and then acceptable.
I didn't change anything there.
I'm
Okay, Sumner County Library, okay.
We were going back and forth through so much, sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta clean it up and then just keep cleaning a little bit, so.
All right, anything
To
else?
effectively supervise. Well, now you're back to your verbs again, so you gotta supervises and directs, prepares and monitors under ability to. So, I'm just telling you, make it all match.
What are you talking?
We'll just go back
He's
to.
saying change like the grammar, like,
Under the ability to effectively supervise.
You know what, this was created by a company that we paid.
Well, they did.
So
crap,
why
okay?
am I going in here and having to do all of
Well,
this?
apparently they didn't go to school.
Well, you're taking up a lot of my time. Okay,
Done,
so
done right.
knowledge of, so we're
I'm saying-
Ability, just two.
ability to effectively
I mean,
prepare.
the other, either that or make the other ones match the
Supervises.
ensure. So the essential job duty is to ensure the building is opened, to assist with daily. So delete all the S's from the first section and then you won't have to worry about the second section.
Are you talking about this whole document?
I'm saying if you're gonna do it right, you gotta do it right. So
Okay.
delete all the S's.
Less of the S's, so you can just go that way.
Delete S's. Got it. We're done. No more S's. Delete every S.
I know, I'm a pain in the ass, but that's okay.
Okay, you're a pain in the ass, yes.
Okay. Are there
When you get ready to say one of those words, tell me.
Are there any more
No, she said yes.
changes or discussion?
I don't know. I
No.
asked the grammar queen over here.
No, there are, no more.
If the
We have
changes
motion
are-
to
What were you
approve.
gonna say? I did. I took out White House. Yes.
Motion to approve.
As amended.
Motion
As
to
amended,
Motion to approve.
As
the
amended.
job,
Debbie
as
did that.
amended, the
And
job
Diane
description
seconded
for
it,
the.
right?
Yes.
All right.
Debbie did, Diane seconded.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Jackie,
No, you
can I
did
ask
it
a
backwards.
clarification?
Yes,
That's good for
okay, hang on
hands.
just a second. Hang on.
Just a clarification, so the requirements in there about getting the degrees and all that and everything, is that retroactive back to us that we have to get that, or is this going forward?
Well,
Okay.
as
I
far
mean,
as,
I'm gonna do the PMLI, and I think we've all decided we're gonna do the PMLI when we can. You can't do it for a year until that, correct, Cecilia, you can't do it
I think that changed,
year?
but
Oh, have they changed that?
they have changed, I think they've
Okay.
changed that, but it's not an automatic, from how I'm reading this, this is not like they all have to do
Mandatory.
this,
Correct.
right?
No.
This is
Right.
not how I'm reading it.
This
It's
is
just- but
going
I
forward.
want the MLI and MLS to be in there because there is a level 5 library in here.
Right,
So when you hire for that, I think that at least should be,
you have to look at that.
maybe not required, but
Yeah.
at least it should be mentioned. I mean, so that's why.
But the PMLI though,
The PLMI is something that the state offers to directors that does not have the MLS.
right,
So that could be anything from a level 1 library to level
Okay.
5
But I
library.
think she's asking if we're
So
going
this
back.
though-
Yes,
the
there's
four
there.
of
We just-
us,
hold on, did
5
we
of
just
us,
change
should
this
we
though?
get
Because
that?
they can just get,
PLMI.
they
Yeah.
can just
We
get
want to
hired with
anyway.
this.
Yeah.
It's just never, we never had the opportunity.
Okay.
But
But
is
then
it
they can get hired just
required
with this,
in the next
but
5
then they
years once this
agree
goes
when
into
they're being
effect?
hired
Well,
that
that's
they
the
will
question.
I think
obtain.
that's what
that's
we're
going
trying to
forward.
clarify, yeah.
I think this is going
Yeah,
forward.
yes.
That's where it should go.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
But
I understand.
I was hired as a
But
director,
you're
I
not
didn't have an
applying,
MLS,
you're
but
already
I
hired.
Yeah,
but
y'all
I
are
had to
grandfathered
agree
in.
Yes,
that
you're
I would
hired.
get this within
And you
5
might,
years.
I mean.
Okay.
so
But I
then
think it's great that y'all are gonna do it
In
together.
for another
So-
10.
Right.
So it's not.
That's
So-
what we,
I wanna
yeah.
So
bring
just
it
a
back.
clarification, you do not have to have that. You can just be someone that has administrative and management experience and you can get hired as a director.
Gotcha.
Correct.
You can get hired as a director, but then you still have
Hang
to agree that you should try to go to PLMI,
Going
right?
forward.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's always.
If we put it in here that you have to do it within the first 5 years of being a director.
That's
That's
going forward.
Going
That
I
is
think,
higher.
I think this might be more appropriate for after the meeting since we've already voted on it.
Right, okay.
Yes. But she was just,
Yeah, I mean, I
Yes.
get,
Now
I
that
get
we've
concerns,
approved
but maybe,
yes.
I understand.
As soon as you make the changes to it,
I'll send it to you
send it
guys.
to me and I will post that, and I'll post it as soon as we can. 2 weeks,
Yeah.
2 weeks, leave it up for 2 weeks, and I can have IT send the applications to you,
Mhm.
and then you can share it with everybody else. But that way, it's just one straight
Yeah. And
thing.
then the personnel committee have to meet.
You all will have to make a decision, you all
Yes.
will set a time to meet.
Yes. Okay.
But you may wanna wait and see what comes in
Yeah.
in the first 2 weeks.
Correct. Yeah.
And then if nothing comes in, you may wanna wait 2 more weeks. I mean, that's, but I will post it with a 2-week deadline as of whatever day you get it to me or I get it to them.
Okay.
And then, and instruct them to have all the applications. Cause I think they can post it online and they can do that where it'll go right to you.
Okay.
And it's a real clean process.
I think, yeah, we're kind of out of order here. We need to get back on the.
Oh, okay.
So we've already voted on, I mean, that's just more of a pre-vote or after the meeting type discussion that we need to
Okay.
have, just to FYI.
Okay,
Oh,
but we
okay.
just need to know, I just need to know when they get it to you what to do and all that. Okay, next
Okay.
item up is the library director's report. So I'm just gonna go in the order I wrote them down. Portland,
Okay, I sent out an email to everybody, kind of with my notes here. Basically, we're just getting ready for our summer reading kickoff. We're basically gonna have people start picking up their calendars and everything on May the 23rd. Our actual summer readings will start on June the 1st. We are doing the same one, I think we all got the same theme of All Together Now, which was the collaborative reading thing. We're kind of going on just a little bit more of that, and be kind, B-E-E, be kind, be humble, be responsible in your community, things like that. Just as a side note, the worker bees in the hive, they're all women, because we get things done, so that's quick enough, yeah. I know, yeah, you got that too, see? Our overall stats for the months of March and April were pretty consistent with last year's. March was a little bit higher and everything. We tend to see a little bit of a drop in April with any kind of statistics, just because of all of the graduations and proms and just, some schools getting out, things like that, so our stats do drop just a
Spring
little
schools.
bit. Exactly, yeah. Next on here, Portland's gonna be having their annual Strawberry Festival this weekend. If you're looking for something to do, come to Portland. There'll be about 50,000 other people there, but come on to Portland. We are gonna be closed on that Saturday simply for the fact that our parking lot will be full by 8 o'clock. There's no place for anybody to park.
Smart.
So. One side note, we are actually home to a replica of the Portland Depot that was like a long time ago. I remember it as a child, but that was a long time ago too. So we do have a replica of that at our library by Alan Haynes. We've had a lot of people come by and look at it. It's so detailed. He even has lights on the inside, art on the wall, furniture that has little drawers that will open.
Wow.
It is so detailed, yeah. So if you have a chance, come up, yeah.
Graffiti on the wall.
Yep, graffiti on the walls, yes. If you have a chance, yeah, come up and take a look at it. He does an amazing, he's done the Gallatin Depot. And Lauren's already asked me to see when he's gonna do the Westmoreland one, so. On a positive note too, we are actually fully staffed right now. It is the first time we've been fully staffed in probably a couple of years, yeah. Budget-wise, I just want to give you an update on that. According to the very last budget report we got from Catherine, we are currently sitting at 74% used on our budget. Within the next couple of months, obviously that's going to go up. I am basically saying that we're going to be around 95% used with all of our stuff from the salary and everything, but in salary we're going to have probably stuff left over. But other than that, I think that's about it. Anything that we do have left over, we're probably going to put into books. Just transfer it over so we can buy more books and everything.
Good for you. Good for
Any
you.
questions?
Toilet paper and paper. Right.
We've already got it. We're stocked up. Yeah, we're stocked up. So, okay?
Awesome.
All right.
All right,
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Millersville, you're up next.
I gave y'all our stats. I did in the first quarter because we weren't able to meet for the March meeting. Just to kind of see the trends, we're slowly increasing our checkouts and our usage and people attending our programs, which is great. We've had a slow recovery from COVID, but we're getting there. We're getting the staff in. I am short a staff member. She went to Portland, that's why she's fully staffed and I'm not. So
She lives in Portland.
She lives in Portland. She's not sorry at all. You still owe me a piece of cake. But we're getting out there and going to the city commission meetings. We're pumping up the numbers as much as we can because Millersville needs a library and we just need to remind them that we're here.
Yep.
I also got a little over anxious and I gave y'all our summer reading calendar. We have events, something scheduled every Wednesday. We're doing movies every Tuesday. We're doing scavenger hunts. We're doing story times. We're trying to do things that will get people in Millersville into our library. Our friends have graciously donated to provide lunch for the kids in our community every other Tuesday. I'm not sure if anybody else is aware, but Millersville is a food desert. And we're very low income and a lot of people, the $1 General in Millersville, most people can't get to because it's up the ridge and it's not safe to walk because we don't have sidewalks. And so providing for our community, being a community hub is especially needed in Millersville, and that's the vision that we have when we're going there. Sorry, I got off on a tangent. All right, real quick, our Millersville happening, because I knew it was going to be a long day. January, we reopened on the 26th of January after our flood. So approximately 588 books were damaged and had to be withdrawn. That's about $1,500. Approximately $18,000 worth of damage to furniture and supplies, and that's not including the damage to the service desk, which I don't know if it's ever going to get fixed. The top is warping. And we had a full reconstruction of our women's restroom. In February, we had our shed broken into, and they stole a lawnmower and a power washer, and that's gone. And then I had 2 open positions. In March, we had Animal Tales come for spring break, and we had 50 people, which is the largest crowd that Millersville could probably even hold, because we're short on space, but it was great. I hired a new children's librarian, and I had a children's library assistant, because those are programs that are desperately needed in our community. In April, we were able to attend our Easter egg hunt for Millersville. We signed 35 new members for library cards, which is great, very exciting. We had 50 people participate in our crafts booth, and we gave them out bookmarks with all of our summer reading programs. So everybody that came to our booth knows that we're here. If you've ever been to Millersville, our sign faces the wrong way. So I have driven past the building on accident when I haven't been paying attention. So we're just trying to get the name out there. We completed an inventory and we began our community garden.
Cool.
In May, our women's restroom was finished May 5th.
Yay.
There's still some holes on the floor, but they're okay. They're tiny holes. And we're starting summer reading on the 22nd. This is going to be my first summer reading as a director. I've always been one of the little peons to go, cut, do, and so we're just trying to get Millersville reading and staying there. And I'm going to the school next week, and I'm just real excited about what we're doing. It's great. Okay. Any questions? Sorry, I didn't do the statistics, but everything Anita said was the same.
I do have a question,
Yes, ma'am.
Amy. As far as your flood, is there stuff that you still never recovered? Like, did insurance cover?
I haven't gotten any money from insurance.
You haven't gotten any money?
No money from
So, the books you just kind of wrote off.
Right.
You deleted them. But we probably claimed that on insurance, because I
I
know
sent-
you gave a very
I
detailed
did.
list.
Yes, I sent all of that. I have received nothing.
So like some of your bookshelves, for instance, if they were wood and they got damaged,
They're gone.
they're just gone,
The
but you
wood
probably
was
need to
warping.
replace them, right?
I understand. I wanted to wait until I knew where I was budget-wise before I started buying replacements. I needed to make sure I had enough for our day-to-day operations. And
Yeah.
so I'm working on trying to get that list completed so I can try and spend. I don't have extra money, but I can.
No, but
maybe
where I
do
wanna
some
help
around.
is that if there's a list of things that got damaged that need to be replaced because of the flood and you need them, can you send an email to me so that I can go to the finance department and find out where this is gonna be covered?
I can absolutely send.
Because
you
I
a
don't
list.
want you to have to take money out of your regular budget when this should have been an insurance claim.
And this was discussed in budget, a part of this was discussed in budget, the flooding from December, was it?
Yes,
There was some flood damage that we discussed with the Register of Deeds office, and you might want to go
Yes.
back and watch the video from
They
the
didn't
budget.
mention Millersville at all.
They didn't mention your library, but they did talk about deductibles and so forth, how they're gonna calculate that.
right,
Might
and
be
I know about the
worthwhile.
25,000, but
Yeah, it might be worthwhile to go back and look at that if you know, FYI, you know.
yeah, but send me an
I
email.
can send you the list.
Great.
Gallatin.
I know it's here somewhere. It's hot in here, y'all.
It is.
And I turned it down. Okay, so, I'm just gonna go to some reading, because that's the first thing I have on the list. We have reached out to all of the schools in Gallatin because we have 8 elementary schools, and we're going to do a spirit day on Saturdays, and we're gonna have teachers and staff, lunch ladies, janitors, principals come in and hang out with their kids on Saturday. We've got a big craft plan for each day that goes along with their school colors, and it's our biggest move to get back into the school system. It's kind of been a strained relationship because there's so many schools in Gallatin. But we're trying, and then we are also doing a community cleanup, and we're working with Public Works, like the librarians, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, Bledsoe Creek, Triple Creek Park, and like I said, the Public Works is gonna provide all the materials we need to clean those areas, and the library staff is gonna go out there and work with the community to clean those areas every other week during the summer. We'll be at the farmer's market every Saturday. We make so many cards there. People who've never set foot in the library go to the farmer's market, they walk by. We have our big tent and mobile library van set up, and it gets a lot of attention, and they let us set up there for free every summer because they're wonderful with the Chamber of Commerce. We have been, maybe it's been mentioned that we're a little bit program heavy at Gallatin. But we're gonna keep going. I'm sorry. I don't know how to stop. So we've added a kids crochet. We've added, we're gonna do a bring your, it's a National Doll Day, but we're gonna do bring your toy to the library day. And they're gonna spend the night on Fridays, and they're gonna get into mischief during June, during the summer. And then we're gonna take pictures and say your Toy survived the library at night here alone with no adult supervision. Then, let's see. Carpet update. We are waiting for Joey's, they got the bid, Joey's Carpet on the Square to do the upstairs carpet. They have to register for a new business license because apparently theirs was expired. We didn't discover it till after they won the bid, but they were the only ones who put the bid in, so we're working with them. That should be in the next few days. And then it usually takes a couple of weeks to get the carpet in. I chose something that was in stock, so I'm hoping it will not take as long, but who knows? So we're praying for by the end of the fiscal year for the carpet upstairs, and it's going to include all the meeting rooms, all the study rooms, and the activity room. And we're going to be coordinating with the trustees and the maintenance department to help us with moving shelves, because those weigh like 84 tons, and I've already moved them twice in my career, and I'm too old and fat to do that anymore. So we're hoping, we may be requesting to close for a day while the trustees, maybe 2 days while the trustees are there. But we do not know yet because we're still waiting on so many other little elements. But so that's where we are with that, and the mayor's still not here. He's helping us with the downstairs carpet in the children's room. And hopefully we're gonna get to use the same kind of carpet tiles, and that's our goal by the end of the fiscal year, if all the stars align, and please say a prayer for us. We also have, I don't know if y'all ever been, those of you that have been in our library, our porch is really cool, and it's got terrible furniture on it that's been there for 15 years and never been refurnished. So it's pretty awful looking. And one of the commissioners several came by, but one of them is making it her personal mission, and she has reached out to a Girl Scouts troop who is going to do the research and the labor, and the mayor is going to give us money towards the materials to refinish those chairs. Our porch really shows off several times a year during the festivals and during the Christmas parade and Veterans Parade, and the judges sit up there and we have music, and the community needs better looking furniture up there. It's kind of sad looking. So that's that. I think that's all I have. I put in the May calendar. I already emailed y'all March stats, and I put April stats in this bunch. Do y'all have any questions for me? Okay.
All right. Hendersonville. I'll let you go last so you can see what the rest of them did. This is your first,
So, long-time listener, first-time speaker.
yeah.
All right, so I included the stats, and really our focus at Hendersonville has just been to recover from all the transition, while still trying to be that thing for the community, the place where they come to their programs and their different activities for learning. Our numbers did go up a little bit. The percentage isn't anything I really want to boast about, but we weren't sure people were going to come back for a while with everything that happened with the security issues and stuff like that. So we're pretty happy with that. I gave you a kind of a newsletter that just kind of highlights some of the stuff that we've done. We did some work in our teen room. We started to have a really good teen response, and we really wanted to capitalize on that. So we did some rearranging of furniture, bought a few little new things, just made it more open for kids. We got a neon sign that lights up so they know when the teen room is open when they first come in. That means that there is a librarian in there who can kind of coordinate what's going on along with running the programs. We were averaging about 5 kids a night, which with teenagers isn't horrible. But now we're up to about 20 consistent faces that we're seeing, and they're all bringing in their friends, and it's getting loud, but that's good. But that's real good. So they are doing some stuff outside and moving into different parts of the library as well. So we're going to be looking at trying to find better areas for them, because we really want to get the teens. We're starting some tween programs as well, because they've kind of fallen in the cracks. They get shoved with the kids, the little kids, a lot, and they don't like that. So We're looking at doing some programs on that. We also are finally fully staffed. That was a hiring of 6 people. We got them all started very quickly. They're all working now. Most of them have been through training. I only have 2 who haven't completed their training, but one of them actually came from another library and knows what she's doing. So she's just needing some refresher. A lot of our people are just helping with training and shadowing and stuff, and I think everything's going good. We have a very diverse group of new employees. When we were doing all of our interviews, we really looked for people who were going to be able to not just be a great librarian, but somebody who had passion for other subjects, things that they could do. A lot of ours are bilingual, whether that be German, Spanish, American Sign Language. They already are established in the community as far as where they've done volunteer work or they run other programs with their organizations, churches, or whatever. So we feel like they're going to be a great benefit. Our social media and tech improvements, we've got a few people who were already on staff who were really good at that kind of thing. Had a vision, we talked about it, we decided to implement it. We had a social media presence, but it really wasn't leaving a footprint, and there wasn't a lot of interaction going on. So by choosing a few people to really work on that and focus it, we're working on our brand. We got a big black eye in the community, and so our focus has been bringing people back in and showing them why to come back in. Our spin on Altogether Now is community. We are creating a little city, almost like a little Hendersonville inside of our library, where we have the fire station, police station, zoo, all that kind of stuff. And kids and families will be able to go through it and see how they connect in their community and how they can continue to reach out and connect in other ways. So I think that's about all.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to,
What's your name?
make a,
I'm sorry, I'm Alicia Nevers. It's pronounced Alicia, but absolutely nobody says it that way, so
And
don't
your
feel
last
weird.
name again?
Neighbors.
Thank you.
I just want to say something really quickly. I just want to say a special thank you to Alicia. Just amazing and what you've been doing since everything and taking this over. I mean, you've only been in the library since September, and you just have done an amazing job. So I just wanted to say thank you.
I've had a really good team, and I will acknowledge all of the board has been extremely helpful. And sorry for the weekly emails, but it's the best way to communicate with all of you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And Lauren is
I was
home
gonna
with.
say, you want me to do a thing for them?
Okay.
Lauren had her baby. Lauren had her baby last week and everything, yes, we have a picture, yes. So, while Lauren is out, I'm actually going, at least once a week, just up there to make sure that they're all good and see if they need anything. I'm doing their payroll for the next couple of months and everything, so. They're not just out there in left field being left alone or anything, I'm making sure. And
That's great.
like I said, her name is Louisa. Louisa.
We call her Easy though.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh, she's my baby.
Yeah. But Lauren and baby are both doing great.
Good.
Yeah, they're back home. Yes.
Is this her first one?
Yes, it
Okay.
is, yes, yes. But she is planning on being back, actually within just a month. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's doing part-time after that, so.
And
Hats
Lauren works
off to
so
her.
hard
Yeah.
to get
And she
everything
has-
done.
yes.
Looks like she's got a little personality
I know.
already.
She worked till the very last
She did,
minute.
yeah.
I've been up there that last.
Yeah.
So cute.
So Westmoreland's doing good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Now, do does Westmoreland, Anita, does
Uh-huh.
Westmoreland have summer activities and stuff already?
Yes, Lauren got
Yes.
everything planned, but I mean, she's already got her calendar, I mean, everything's already been planned.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's gonna come back at the ground time, yeah.
Good work, all.
All right, Red River Regional Library.
I'll do a really long report.
Oh, thanks.
We appreciate
Thanks.
that.
We appreciate that.
I just want to say, so every year we have consultations with each of the directors, and we did that these last few weeks. We met with each one of these guys, and I just have to say, I'm just impressed by them. They're so different, but they all have very clear goals for their libraries and visions, and so passionate. And I know we say this almost every time we meet, but this is a really program-heavy group. These libraries are doing exceptional work. We have something called the Tennessee Advisory Council for Libraries, and our representative was going to a meeting this week, and I was listing all the Sumner programs because she wanted something positive from the region, and I was like, you can just go to their Facebook pages and just find it all. So I appreciate you guys for everything that you do and everything that you give us. I did send you the email this morning, or I guess maybe it was the other day, but so for the trustee certification program, I think you all know who hasn't done it. Beth has done it, she wasn't on the list. Diane did it this morning. So we don't have that many left, but just, be on the lookout. I know you're working on it too. So I will send you emails, and I know you're working on it as well because I've seen your name pop up. But I will send you reminders because I think you all are going to apply for the technology grant, so that's going to be part of that. And we want to make sure we get a high percentage for that. The open meeting law, the update to that, it sounds like you're all in, you know what's happening, so that should be, it was easier, we didn't have to have the supporting documents.
Yes,
it was a bit worrying, not worrying, it wasn't a bad thing, but it
wasn't a bad thing.
thing.
More public participation is always a good thing, but sometimes that can cause other issues.
Yeah. Well, at least the agenda, it's good to have the agenda.
Yes.
I'm happy about that. Some of our boards, need that reminder, so that's good. We are having some training coming up, so we have a roundtable for the directors in a couple of weeks on the 23rd, and that's probably going to be in person, but you might be able to do that hybrid, I'm not sure, but that will be for you guys only. We have Chuck Sherrill come to speak to us about how to talk to public officials in June. Chuck Sherrill is our former state librarian, so I think that might be interesting for some of the trustees too to come to. Level 5 Summit, that's an annual event that we have for Level 5 directors, and that's going to be in Knoxville this year in November. I just want to make sure that you have it on your.
Do you know what the cost is for that?
No, I do not. I know that we have in the past been able to get state rate for the hotel, and that would be the only cost except for
It's just for the
DM.
hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel and meals.
Yeah. So that would be, I'm assuming, county.
Yeah, I want to make sure there's enough money in Hendersonville's budget to go to that.
Yeah. We don't have the final approval yet, so we'll get more information out when we do that. Okay. So that would be for Hendersonville only. Trustee workshop has been decided, so that's going to be on September 12th. And we'll have invite you all to that as an annual event we have for trustees from all over Middle Tennessee. So that's a fun one to go to, and you at least need one person to be there from this board. Training tracker, I don't remember talking to you, but I'm sure I have. So that's going to be due in mid-July, but I know that you guys are working on that. Standard survey, I'll send emails out about that too, but as you know, that's not really a lot of work.
If we have employees that start like really late in the year, like we've just had some, do they still have to have all their done by, that's only gonna give them like a month to get.
You know what, there's no, like, we're not, we're going to be reasonable.
Okay.
All
I
of
asked
us.
Caitlin when I got the email too, and she said that it was okay if they started.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, it's just.
And Gina's done hers.
Exactly, that's really like,
You said the training tracker is due in mid-July?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we look at how many hours the staff works and.
Right, because here it said June 30th, I just, mid-July, gives them a little bit.
Yeah, so I changed, because I talked to Caitlin after I did this, and she said, you don't really have to do it.
Okay, good.
So, yeah. But I think you guys are more or less have it in order already. And technology grant is out, so it's due on July 7th. So you still have some time for that, and we'll look at the trustee certification for that, and attendance to the trustee workshop last year. Construction grant is always available for you, and I think I sent you an attachment with the grants. That's just for you to kind of be aware of that those are available. The construction grant is always there. I don't know if they always have money in the pot, but it's always there.
So when you talk about 100,000 every 10 years, but then it sounded like if it's a county with multiple libraries, then that 100,000 would be shared amongst all 5 libraries? Or since we're now separated, are we 100,000 per each? How does that work?
You know, I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't be able to. I have to check that to see what that is. But I do know that they each year they ask us, you know, what's happening in your region? What do you think? You know, who do you think will get to that spot? So they are kind of, because I think 100,000 is more or less what they have. So it's going to be shared. So you know, that comes into it often. But
And then
if
you
you
have to
all are going
match
to
it.
apply, I'm sure that's going to be.
Then you have to match.
No.
No, we just
No.
said it.
So this one is, let me show. So this is, you do have to match.
The construction or the technology?
The technology grant is a 50-50
Right,
match.
Right, but what's the
But the
construction?
construction grant is, let me make sure I don't say anything.
The technology is 50/50?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
technology is 50-50. You know, I should have known this part before I came here. So construction will require prerequisite amount of local funds to be spent prior to the grant fund. Is equal to the amount of the grant award. So, yeah.
So it's a 50/50.
So you have to have at least that, it looks like. So you have to have spent at least the amount that you're getting before you can, you know, let me not say too much. I'm going to probably have a meeting with Jennifer Cow-Henderson, who's in charge of these grants.
Okay.
And we're going to be spending time on the technology grant, but she can also talk about this.
I'd like to know.
So maybe I
I'd
can
like to
invite
know
you
the
guys to
parameters
that,
of the
because
construction group.
because I don't think I have enough information about that. So let me, I can ask her to talk about that too. That's it. That's all I
Okay,
have.
thank you very much.
I do want to say that I do miss going to the different libraries for the board meetings. Yes, yes.
And I'm not saying we're taking that totally off the table, because we do tend to stay here long, and I know they have to go home,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
So,
If you come to Portland in May, I'll give you strawberries. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so we haven't taken it off the
Yeah,
table,
that's
but,
good.
you know, we may come back to
Yeah.
that again. Okay, I think we've gone through our checklist.
One more motion.
I know, but
but-
I have a question.
Okay.
You said we needed a special call meeting in May.
To comply
To
with the
comply
bylaws
with
for electing your
the bylaws.
officers.
conduct elections.
Yes.
So we need to set a date for that.
So let's go ahead, before we do that,
Do you want to make
We
a motion
approved
to
it.
adjourn?
no, what we need to do is we need to add that to the agenda as a light item. So
Okay,
Someone
do I
wants to
have a
make that
motion to
motion?
add?
to add that as,
Okay, Joanna made the motion,
I'll second.
To add it,
to add
Diane
to this
seconds.
agenda,
to add to
yes.
this agenda.
Okay.
Yes.
and then date for special call meeting.
So to add an item to the
And it
agenda.
needs to be, to add the item to the agenda. you need
Okay,
to-
all in favor say aye. Okay, all opposed. So we've got it on the agenda now.
Okay.
Now look at your calendars.
Do we want to do May 31st, like the last?
No.
No?
No, that's
before
the
that.
weekend, that's the holiday week.
Well, you don't want to do it on the 23rd because that's the
Right,
special call meeting for
Not
budget
unless we do it in the morning.
and all.
The 22nd is budget.
Huh,
The 22nd, I believe, is budget.
Well, but the special call meeting is the 23rd.
third.
I think that was changed.
Oh, it was?
I believe the 22nd. It was changed from the 16th to the 23rd and back to the 22nd.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, do we
Same
want to try to
time.
just do next week? I'm open the 15th, 16th, 17th, so Monday, Tuesday,
Okay.
Wednesday, and then the following week, I'm Monday, the 22nd, and the 24th, Wednesday.
I was gonna say the 24th.
24th works for me.
What about the
What time?
I'm okay with it.
What day is the 24th?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
I was,
No.
No.
Wednesdays aren't. My husband's having cataract surgery, but I don't think he's having on the 23rd. It's 2 weeks between, so I don't know. I'll have to be here.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, we could do Monday the 22nd.
No, just-
Or,
No, that's
Just
budget
do
meeting.
the 24th.
oh, okay.
uh,
Well, because it's a special called meeting, I was thinking of doing it at the same time that we
three-
normally do them,
okay.
at 3:30,
uh,
if that
and
works.
it's not gonna take long, because
No.
we're only gonna have one thing on the agenda.
Right.
We could do it on the 24th if we did it at 4 o'clock instead of 3:30, because I have a hair appointment and priorities are priorities. You know, so,
I'm fine with,
with 4
4
o'clock, okay,
I'm fine.
so.
Are y'all good with 4?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to meet on May the 24th at 4 o'clock in this room for a special call meeting
To elect,
to elect officers?
officers?
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I have a motion.
Okay, we'll have to check.
Otherwise, we can meet
Okay.
at Hendersonville
Yeah.
or somewhere.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Diane seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So I will call in the morning and see if this room is available.
And also let, IT know, get it posted and everything, so.
And yeah, I'll do the notice first.
Right.
The public we'll get that out as
And
soon
then the
as
public
we
notice
can.
includes the call of the meeting, just so you all are aware, for special call meetings. It's not just we're having a special call meeting, it's we're having a special call meeting to discuss,
To elect officers.
to elect officers. yeah.
Okay. So I'll post the notice. I'll call and see if the room's available, post the notice with IT.
I think in terms of electronic
The
meetings.
24th is
Because in other words, it's gonna take us longer, everybody longer to drive.
I think that's been discussed, I'm not sure that's, I'm not sure the state law says that. I know we have an exception for COVID,
Right.
I'm not sure
Oh, did we
what
adjourn
the
yet?
state's doing.
Not
yet. No.
Okay, okay, still waiting.
I'm not sure what's permissible.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Diane makes a motion. I saw Ruth hand.
Okay, fine.
So Ruth seconds.
And Amy,
All
I
in-
need to speak with you.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
I wanna see you.
We are adjourned.
Okay.
At 5:45.
I did have a question though.